Baltimore's Housing Authority has taken heat for not paying court judgments won by people poisoned by lead paint in their homes. But those families are not the only ones waiting for a check. ABC 2 News' Josie Sturman has one woman's story about being owed hundreds of thousands of dollars and getting a chunk taken away because of a legal loophole that could impact you too.
Nornita Hyman dreams about having a place of her own someday.
I want a flower bed, nice backyard, and just somewhere safe.
Safety, a small thing to ask for, and considering what she's been through, it's understandable. Nornita lived for years in public housing on Packus Street, in a building that is now boarded up and blocked over to keep people out. In her mind, that place should have been closed up years ago.
The doctor said I had to leave from that home because if not, it was going to kill me.
During the 6 years she lived here, Nornita was constantly sick, in and out of the hospital with pneumonia. Turns out her home was the cause.
It started getting rotten under the sink. Mold started building up.
Toxic mold in her kitchen, behind the walls, in the basement, tainting every breath. Nornita complained, filled out work orders, and asked for help from the Housing Authority of Baltimore City, but it never came.
And this was years and years and years had done passed by. And I was still there, and they still did nothing.
But in 2004, Nornita did something. She filed a lawsuit against the Housing Authority and won. They were held responsible for what happened here to the tune of $300,000. But months later, that sum was cut in half, in part because of a law most of you have probably never heard of.
Do you think most people know that they need to do that?
Oh, absolutely not.
Because while Nornita had complained to supervisors in her building and filed more than 20 work orders, she didn't notify the city solicitor about her injuries until she got a lawyer. So all the pain she suffered in the years before that happened essentially meant nothing.
People don't know that. And I think it's outlandish that they get to be held protected, the Housing Authority is protected, when they're dealing with people who may not be aware.
Aware of the Maryland Local Government Tort Claims Act, which gives you only 180 days to report an injury if you want to seek damages. So Nornita lost out on thousands in her judgment against the Housing Authority. And to make it all worse, despite winning the case more than a year ago, she still hasn't seen a dime.
Do you feel like they have won?
In a way.
Because they haven't paid.
They haven't paid. And they're not trying to.
Instead, the Housing Authority's commissioner says it can't afford to, because Nornita isn't the only one waiting on a check. She's one of a group of people who have sued and won, with the authority racking up $12 million in judgments, mostly for lead paint.
This is a deadbeat landlord.
A landlord that says its hands are tied because the judgments involve homes linked to federal money. So now Nornita and others have to wait and wonder if the nightmare from their past will hold up the dreams for their future. Josie Sturman, ABC 2 News.
Yeah. Well, the Housing Authority says the federal government's Housing and Urban Development Department has to sign off before they can pay any judgments, and they could have plenty to sign off on. In addition to Nornita's case, which is part of $12 million in judgments, the Housing Authority also has 185 other claims to deal with, which could cost more than $800 million.